do have to get growth above the rate of population growth so that you have that positivity. You do have to stabilize prices, inflation, and the exchange rate. And of course, I have the governor next to me. But in terms of inflation, the IMF figures, I mean, you showed some figures there, but the IMF outlook shows inflation at the end of 2024 in Nigeria at 15%. And similarly, in our economy, we do have to deal with the issue of import dependence, foreign exchange. We do have to get surplus foreign exchange into the economy so that we can afford imports. And the two key foreign exchange consumers, over 50% of import spending is on fuel and food. The refineries are coming on stream. We saw the first shipment of crude to the Dangote refinery, and we must commend him. It's normally a project that governments would do, and he's doing it as an individual. We commend his courage at a time when we need boldness and courageousness to move the economy. Likewise, the other refineries, we have NNPC here, the other refineries are coming on stream. So these are areas in which we will have less dependence on or less spending on foreign exchange and more foreign exchange available to the economy.
We will be using inflation targeting, and we will ensure that the use of monetary policy actually cascades down and has an impact. I mean, doing these meetings takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of thought. And like you rightly pointed out, at a time like this, we must ensure that we are getting results for what we are doing. So I think that hopefully should put paid to that matter, because that's really what it is. And I've said it before, and I will be held accountable to that going into 2024. So that's that. Now, with respect to the real issue of inflation, as we know, there are different components of inflation. There's money supply, which is very critical. There's imported inflation, okay? There are structural issues. There are a whole host of different things. With respect to money supply, importantly, very, very importantly, we have taken very bold steps to control money supply. In actual fact, as you probably are aware, we've gone to the extent of increasing the OMO activities, both in terms of volume and in terms of price, all in the need, or all with the objective of reining in money supply. Very, very, very important. The central bank has a clear focus on exactly where it expects money supply to be.
Natural resource that we have is the talent pool. We have a huge talent pool, a population of, well, it depends on who is quoting, but to be moderate, let's say 200. 70% of that is employable. And the unemployment rate we know is quite high. And that pool is actually a huge resource for the country. And for industrialization to happen, you also have to have the right skill to support that industrialization. So we also began the talent export program, where we can attract business outsourcing into Nigeria. But to upskill people, you have to begin to train them. So now we are launching the artisan certification and licensing program, where we actually certify and give you a certificate that is acceptable worldwide. We've gone into partnership with Germany and UAE, and both in terms of exchanging curriculum and also in terms of talent exchange. So there are lots of programs that we are rolling out for talent development. But speaking to non-oil export is one thing to identify how you want to go about it. We were just speaking a couple of minutes ago that Nigeria needs to be deliberate and focused on attacking the challenges that we've seen that's impeding export of goods and services over time. There are issues with logistics. Up till now, we don't have enough routes, we don't have a working rail network, and the airports are not even operating at adequate capacity to be able to take up and facilitate exports in a quick turnaround time. A lot of the produce that we export are agri products. We have a huge, up to 70% post-harvest losses. There is need to also build the infrastructure across the entire agri-system, the value chain, the warehousing, the processing facilities, and the storage facilities. Now, equip that with transportation and logistics, then you have a functioning agri-system or even a commodity system itself.
Tremendous progress has been made over the last 4 years. And in getting tariffs to the point where they're cost reflective, but doing so in a way that also starts to build some confidence back that you're paying higher tariffs for more reliable service. So I think the key here will be to kind of navigate that balance of making things fiscally sustainable and affordable while ensuring that consumers, households, and firms, businesses like you mentioned, do have reliable power, right? The depreciation of the Naira is what has created the immediate challenge, right? Because many of the cost-reflective tariffs are linked to the exchange rate. So this is a problem that government is fully aware of. What I've heard the president say is, look, at this point, given all the pain that the population has already endured, we're going to take our time. But my hope certainly is that this is not something that's a pause forever, that in fact finding that balance between getting things to the point where tariffs are cost reflective while service is improved and is more reliable, that process of reforms, we see no signs of kind of backtracking from that. I think that will continue.